Hollow Knight is a great game. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you had fun. How about liking and subscribing? I've had a lot of fun playing it on stream, and I wouldn't have played it for 30 plus hours if I didn't like the game. However, as good as Hollow Knight is, it's not perfect. Some people might be offended by that statement, some people might agree with that statement, but I'm just here to voice my opinion. The points I'm going to talk about are from the perspective of a casual gamer who doesn't have a lot of time to game due to other responsibilities. You might think some points are rage bait, but trust me, I'm serious about all my points here. To be fair, the problems I'm going to mention aren't very serious, but I think they impact the game enough for me to be annoying. If you agree or disagree with what I'm about to say, let me know in the comments. Please just keep discussion civilized. I know talking about Hollow Knight can get a bit heated. This is going to be more of a serious video, I hope you don't mind that. Normally, I do videos with like silly jokes and edits. I'm also going to use clips from my streams where I'm playing Hollow Knight, so don't mind the overlay. Here is a cool plug for my streams. With that being said, let's get into the topic. Problem 1. Shade placement. This really is just a minor annoyance, but I want to talk about it nonetheless. The shade placement after you die is, at least in my opinion, pretty inconsistent. But what do I mean by inconsistent? Well, for me, there are 3 ways a shade can spawn. Before an obstacle, in the middle of an obstacle, or after an obstacle. If you die in a boss fight, your shade spawns before the entrance to the boss room, so before the obstacle. If you die during an arena fight, for example, your shade should also spawn in front of the entrance to the arena, right? Nope, it spawns in the room after you finish the arena. You know, the room you haven't even entered yet? Now, this is just an example here. There are also examples where the shade spawns in front of the entrance to the arena. Still, there are some cases where the shade spawns after the arena, which I think is a bit stupid. Dying in the overworld, for example in a parkour section, can also lead to extremely unfavorable shade spawns, which could mean losing all your geo. It's not the end of the world, of course, hence why I'm calling it a minor inconvenience, but it is annoying nonetheless. And don't get me wrong, I fully understand why the normal areas, for example, have these zones where the shade can spawn, and these zones sometimes being in places you haven't gotten to yet. But it could have been prevented by just adding more zones, you know? Let's take this parkour section in Greenpath as an example. I died in this spot, but when I returned, my shade didn't spawn on the platform before, but on the platform after, a platform I haven't been to yet. And no, fighting the shade there instead of here wouldn't really make much of a difference. It really is just a small annoyance, and maybe I wouldn't have mentioned it if it didn't impact me twice. I'll never get these 1700 geo back, but here I am, whining about it. I get it, it's supposed to be a hard game, and I could just get good, but the game could also just have mercy on the casual players and not take my hard-earned lunch money and force me to eat my lunch all alone on the school toilet. Problem 2. Platforming. This might be the point where most people disagree with me, but I also want to drop a disclaimer. I'm not really hating on the platforming itself, but rather some inconsistencies and some mean traps within the platforming. The controller I've been using has stick drift, which makes platforming sections twice as unenjoyable. But the game can't really do anything about that, and this is completely on me. We okay with that? Cool. The parkour sections in this game are mostly well designed. I'm saying mostly because there are some things that I just don't like about them. The wall jump feels inconsistent at times, which can be mainly seen here. I know for a fact that I've been spamming the jump button the moment I touched that wall, but my character still decided to slide down. This wouldn't be so bad if the parkour sections weren't that precise. Talking about precision, let's talk about hitboxes. I know it's a delicate topic and I can only imagine how hard it is to do a proper hitbox, but sometimes it feels like spikes only touch your toe, and all of a sudden the knight becomes a grade A actor in a soccer match and begs the referee for a foul. And then there's also this. And yes, this is technically an advantage for me, but it is a minor inconsistency, so I'm going to at least mention it. Trust me though, I'm not hating on that hitbox. Another topic when it comes to parkour parts is checkpoints. No, I'm not talking about getting damaged and then reappearing on a platform, I'm actually talking about dying. Most of the time it's not that bad, as most parkours aren't incredibly long. However, 2 parkours, both located in the White Palace, are pretty long. The main parkour and the Path of Pain. During the main parkour, a viewer of mine suggested a charm combo which made me realize something. I'm actually having fun doing parkours in Hollow Knight, if I'm allowed to actually practice the jumps and obstacles for as long as I want. This sounds incredibly lame, as damage is basically meaningless and I'm in no danger of dying, but it also feels so good to actually use the movement of the game to practice something. Again, I'm a casual gamer. No, I don't want to spend 10 tries and over 30 minutes to get to a point I just died at. I want to clear that point and move on with the game. You could just say that I have to get good, and that's a valid argument, but I realize that I enjoy platforming that way. It's just the way it is, don't blame me. It's a single player game after all, so people should be allowed to play it however they want to play it. If I enjoy platforming like that, then so be it. So yeah, parkours are mostly just a bit too annoying and difficult for me, but my stick drift, something the game can't do anything about, is part of that miserable experience, so I'm not going to blame the game too much for that. Problem 3. Respawn after bosses. The next problem has to do something with dying again. If you die to a boss in Hollow Knight, you respawn on a bench, most of the times around 1 to 2 minutes away from the boss room. Why? Like, why do I have to take this useless path, which in 90% of the cases isn't even hard or overly dangerous, just to fight a boss again? For me, that was mostly more annoying than challenging. Again, I get it. The game is supposed to be hard and you're supposed to work for every bit of success, but honestly, in the case of the bosses, this whole getting to the area again really is just more annoying than it is challenging. One of the few areas that were like kind of hard and challenging was Queen's Garden. If you die to Traitor Lord, traversing this section can definitely hurt you, especially since you have to fight 2 waves of guards again. Though the hard and challenging part might also be Queen's Garden just sucking in general. Oh wait guys, I just died to Lostkin. Damn it, now I need to return to this area and waste like 30 seconds taking a path that doesn't even have enemies. Wait, what the heck? Why did I respawn in front of the boss? Wow guys, the dream bosses literally fixed the problem I had with boss fights. See, it's not that hard. I don't have to waste minutes going to the boss again just because I died multiple times. What's the punishment for losing? Well, it's losing all your soul, so you don't get to open the fight with spells or can quickly heal if you get damaged. To be fair, that's also the case when you die in the overworld to a normal boss, but most of the time you get soul from the enemies on the way. Losing all your soul still means you have a disadvantage from dying, but the punishment isn't actually wasting your time. And if you want to get some soul back, you can do that too. It's at the risk of losing health, but the choice is yours. Look, I understand that the Dream Realm is handled differently, but you know what exists in the overworld? Benches. Enraged Guardian is a good example. If you die to that boss, you're literally only a couple seconds away from trying again. If you want to grab some soul, you can just hit the enemies in the neighboring rooms. I just personally think that all this going to the bosses again is more lame and time wasting than it is challenging. I really enjoyed the dream bosses by the way, because I was able to fight them again and again and again, without having to worry about going to them after every loss. Problem 4. Hints and secrets. I'm probably going to get some flack for this one, but hear me out. I like Hollow Knight. No, that's not the part I'm getting flack for. I think Hollow Knight has a wonderfully deep and beautiful world, but I don't want to hang out here forever. What I mean by that is that if I have a goal, like fighting the charm Lifeblood Core for example, what do? You just explore the world, silly. Oh, how could I have been so stupid? Look guys, I found the door that leads to the charm thanks to your helpful advice. What do you mean I need 14 or more health to access this area? The game didn't tell me that. Do you see what I'm getting at? Yes, you could kind of see it, but only kind of. I love this game, and I know why hints are as rare as they are. The developers put a lot of time and love into this game and the areas they created, so they want us to explore them. It's a Metroidvania after all. That's how Metroidvanias are supposed to be played, duh. But is that really true? Is it okay for us to be forced into a position where you either play the game blindly or open a wiki page to find out more about secrets in certain locations? Why doesn't the game tell me more about the things it wants me to see? Here, instead of just whining about everything, let me make a proposal for a simple hint system. Before the player starts a new file, they get asked a question. How should hints be handled? The question has 3 answers. Give me full information, make it cryptic, and I don't want any hints at all. The standard option is make it cryptic, as that is what Hollow Knight hints usually are. You have to decipher them to make use of them. Let's take the charm Lifeblood Core as an example again. The way hints could work is really simple. Full information and cryptic hints give you access to a quest journal, where main and side goals are documented. Having no hints at all doesn't give you access to this option. Here's what full hints could look like. Go to the abyss with 14 or more lifeblood masks, 15 or more when using Joni's blessing, and open the door on the left side wall. Easy and simple, right? Pictures of the area are optional, but they might make this a bit too easy. Here's what cryptic hints could look like. Return to your birthplace, bursting with more life than you will ever need. Somewhere in that place, a door is waiting to be opened. It's absolutely not clear what that means to a new player, but they can figure it out. I know this is extra work, and wikis replace the need for a system like that to exist, but I still think it's sad that most of the things in the game don't have any hints at all. Yes, you can technically see cracks in the walls, but I don't really count that as a hint. And of course, if you know everything, it's very easy to find stuff. Of course it is, duh. And I know that there is joy in exploring, but I think there is a stark difference between exploring and aimlessly wandering around, having no clue where to go. Look, I wish I had more time to properly explore this game, but I simply don't. That's why when I was really stuck, I used the wiki. Completing 112% of the game, or even 100% for that matter, without the wiki is practically not doable. Or you're just going to waste a lot of time, and I simply don't have that time. Oh, by the way, we can do problems 5 to 7 really quickly. Problem 5, this enemy. Problem 6, this enemy. Problem 7, this quest. Okay, I'm done with my points. That was a whole lot of nothing, huh? I did warn you though. Again, the points I made covered some annoying topics for me, but definitely not annoying enough for me to hate the game. Yes, I could also be talking about how making you one hit away from dying or making enemies deal more damage is probably the laziest and worst way to create artificial difficulty, but then again, I don't want to hate on it too much. I mean, I know why it's done though. It is to make the game harder. I still love this game. I cannot say that often enough. I still love this game. It looks amazing. It has a wonderful world and wonderful characters, an amazing soundtrack. It feels very good to play, and it's not ruined by corporate greed. It's a genuinely good game, and I think the good points would make this video 3 times longer, at least. If you haven't played Hollow Knight already, for whatever reason, do yourself a favor and play it. If you like these kinds of games, you will have a blast. If you're unsure, at least try it out. I don't think you're going to regret it. What do you think about the points I made? Are they reasonable? Are they delusional? Let me know in the comments down below. And yes, I am going to be playing Hollow Knight Silksong on release, who would have thought? But I'm going to play it in a special way. Just playing it normally isn't unique enough, and everybody's going to do that, so I'm here to offer a different experience. I will spin a wheel with punishments on it every time I die in Hollow Knight Silksong. By the way, don't worry about me not dying. I died to Collector in Hollow Knight. I think we can expect some punishments at least. Stream starts on Thursday the 4th of September at 7 PM Central European Time, provided Steam doesn't crash from the mass of people buying the game, on Twitch and YouTube. See you there!